how are you? Today is June 22nd, the day after the eclipse, which was yesterday, and the equinox. I am doing this reading now as the moon is conjunct Mercury. So moon is still in Cancer, conjunct Mercury retrograde in Cancer. And also, my readings are getting like super long, even I don't want to watch them. So I'm going to do things a little bit faster. Instead of talking through all the cards, I'm just going to put all the cards down and then talk. But what we're going to do is start with my Mercury deck. So I'm going to pick 3 cards for advice about your situation. These are usually like where to find the information that you need or the lessons or whatnot. So let's get started here. Can I have 3 cards, please, for Aries? About this solar eclipse, energy for Aries at this solar eclipse. What advice? 3 cards face down. I'll take that one because it jumped. 2 more, please. 2 more cards for Aries, face down, advice. I'll take those 2. Okay. So we have a lot of actual planetary movements coming up at the end of the month, and I'm going to do another reading after Venus goes direct and when Mars moves into Aries, which will be very welcome at first, but then you'll see we'll all get tired of that placement too. But at least it's better than Pisces, so better energy is around the corner. Now let's get the overall energy for Aries, please, for this eclipse that happened yesterday, June 21st. What's the energy for Aries for the solar eclipse of June 21st? Oh, interesting. Because this was at the bottom of the deck before I started shuffling. Okay, so let's see what else comes up. Can I get the challenge energy for Aries for the solar eclipse? Challenge energy for Aries for the solar eclipse of June 21st, 2020. What is the challenge energy for this eclipse? Adventure. So this is the Page of Pentacles. So as you know, that's a slow energy, but also moving towards brighter future, like I said. Let's get the lesson here. And the characters you may meet along the path. And there we go. And the unfinished symphony. Okay, so this is clearly talking about Mercury retrograde period as well. Things coming from maybe even some tricky situations coming up from the past. To be closed out as part of your path. Let's get 2 more cards here can I get the energy at the start and the energy at the end of the eclipse period. Start and end of the eclipse period for Aries. And, well, I'll tell you this. I had a metaphor for this energy that I was thinking of this morning because it was at a 0 point of Aries, or the Aries point of Cap and Cancer. So it happened right at 0, which is interesting because these are the last of these Cap Cancer eclipses that we've been having for the last couple of years. So a brand new start at the end of a cycle. Can I get the energy, please, for beginning? Making a choice, interesting, and there's those 2 options in front, so that's right now. And then let's get 1 more card, please. Okay. Or 2 more cards for where it is. Okay, and we have Spirit of Place and the Compass in reverse, right? So we'll look at those in a second. There's a 4 and a 5. 3, 4, 5. Interesting. Can I get, please? Okay. Ace of Swords. So getting clarity. 2 more cards, please, for Aries for this eclipse energy. 2 more cards or 3 more cards. Okay, so what do we have here? Knight of Wands, 4 of Pentacles, and the Moon all coming out. So let's just take a look really quickly at, I'm sorry if you can hear like my doors opening and closing. The wind is sort of blowing them. But let's take a quick look at the essences of energies that are on the table. So we have the overall energy being this trickery piece, right? Things that maybe you're not seeing clearly, things that the light, the eclipse will help you to understand that perhaps all was not as it seemed, which is bound to happen on the path, right? But also shedding light, maybe shedding light on a situation, finally coming out of the dark and seeing what was going on, or having been in a stage of being stuck by this sort of behavior, somebody holding on to things, not revealing themselves, not exposing themselves, not understanding where the path leads, right? So there's very much about, I'm getting ahead of myself. There's very much about paths and choices, right? Adventure, walking down slowly, Page of Pentacles, coming out of the dark into a new light. The unfinished symphony, which is also talking about, I always think of this sort of keyboard as a bit of like a path itself that you move towards it, down it. Here we have the making a choice, which is a path. You have this moon card, which has a path, which is illuminated by this, essentially what's an eclipse here. And then we have a card here that talks about the compass, not necessarily knowing where to go, but looking for a place where you can find spirit, like peace. And so it's really about making a choice. And you see also there's these two energies. There's sort of light and dark energies. Making choices that help to move out of this sense of trickery and move into a sense of peace. And dealing with some sort of karmic situation that's going to allow you to close out this cycle, right? Now we have the Ace of Swords here, which is clarity energy, and the Knight of Wands rushing towards it. So this can be a person, fire sign, young fire sign, enthusiastic fire sign. It can also just be an energy of sort of something rushing in that offers to bring you clarity. Shedding light on something that wasn't budging, right? This person is not revealing themselves. They're not open. They're not showing you their cards, right? They're keeping what they have. They're very concerned about their own stability and their own protection. And so that may make them behave. I have a feeling that these two cards are very connected, right? That in the situation where the person is not, whoever's holding themselves back, not revealing, there's something in that, right, where they're maybe trying to get one over on you or trying to fool you. But this eclipse light is actually going to have somebody bring in the information or bring in the energy that needs, and this may actually be that Mars and Aries sort of charging in to offer clarity on what's the right next step. How to sort of walk out of this darkness and towards the light, towards the rainbow, figuring out what's been essentially a stuck path, like not knowing how to take the next step, helping you to make your choice in order to finish the symphony and wrap things up. Now, the other thing, so I want to talk, and actually for me that would be like kind of enough here. There's that's the story, right? That the eclipse is going to bring something to light, bring something that will be revealed. Interesting, because it's a 4 and a 4, which is not only our number for the Emperor, but it's also the Cancer. It's 4th house. The eclipse was in our solar 4th and 10th house. There's the 10 again. So the analogy I was thinking of this morning is when you buy a house, right? There is a ton of work that leads up to when you close, right? So it's the process of buying a house. It has different phases, and you identify it. Then you have to ask for loans. You have to move in. So there's lots of different pieces that go before you can call a house yours, before someone actually gives you the keys and you can go in there and say, this is my house. So a very new beginning, right? New beginning, new chapter, starting something completely over, your spirit of place where you feel at home. Before we get to that, getting the keys and being able to step into a space that's called home, there is a whole process that involves the house that happens first. So, if we think about the north nodes moving backwards through the signs, and so the nodes have just left Capricorn and Cancer and have moved into Gemini and Sagittarius, and this solar eclipse, a major solar eclipse at the 0 point of those signs, which we have just finished a major transit in, are in my mind, because it's both an energy of wrapping up and new beginning at the same time. Very much like this card here, coming to the end of one path as you step into another one. But as you step into another one, it's about creating a new domicile, a new you, right? Or a new sense of place and a new sense of identity. And so really wrapping up a cycle, but that was all about getting to this new place, right? So the next chapter is not going to be completely different. It's going to be a new phase of something you've already been working on. But this eclipse energy is going to allow us to reveal energies that have been working against us. Oh, and this is another thing I wanted to say, because I took down some notes the other day about what's been going on. So here's what I think is going to get revealed. And I'll tell another anecdote. I have been burning myself while I cook frequently. It's not we all burn ourselves when we cook, but mine has been happening like a lot. And so that's one of the ways the universe gets your attention, is that it makes you repeat things again and again until you're like, why does this keep happening? And so what I did was I would have to pay attention to, what do I keep doing that keeps causing me to burn myself? And I would forget, I would put things in the oven and forget to get the gloves, or my gloves were not thick enough. So I had to change some of my instruments. I had to get a whole new set of high-tech gloves that would take the heat. But I also have to remember every single time to not just act in the kitchen. I have to stop and think, hey, remember, you constantly burn yourself. So there is also a question of getting very clear on behaviors that we perpetuate sorry about the ambulances, where we get hurt, right? Exactly there. So what are the behaviors that we engage in almost mindlessly that are forcing us, that are causing us to continue to hurt ourselves? And getting clear on sort of those behaviors. And it may be tricking ourselves. It may be involved in other people that are not up and up, or on the up and up with us. It may also be that sometimes we are willingly gullible, right? So there is also a question of where are we too nice? Where are we too naive? Where do we walk down this path almost with the energy of a child, which is great, but at the same time, if we do that, we can get hurt along the way if we're not wise to the fact that sometimes we need to protect ourselves, and there's ways to do that, so we can feel safe. And so I think that was one of the other messages that is going on right now is that we have a very new beginning at the end of a chapter, right? So whatever we've learned in the last couple of years is now given us the keys to be able to make a new start. And we'll be seeing that coming up in the next few months. But before so, it looks like this eclipse, particularly under this Mercury retrograde, is going to shed light, allowing us to see what our two choices are, right? So we're going to start seeing things. They won't seem as holistic as they were. We're going to start to see them separate into what was the dark and what was the light. What seemed to be one thing was actually two. And we'll be getting some information that's going to bring us clarity on whatever's been holding out on us, or whatever has been unbudged, like won't move. That seems to, like, I kind of see like these two is here and these two here. I think we can expect things to start moving quickly very soon, right? Like we've been here. These actually kind of came out in a different order. We've been here, and now things are going to start moving here. You'll get a lot of clarity. You'll be able to make a choice. You're going to start seeing things for what they really are, but also not only what they really are, but being able to come out of sort of a dark energy that we've been in and allow something to close out. And when you find that sort of, when you re-identify what your choices are and you see that there's choices, this feeling of being lost and stuck in the dark is going to go away, and will bring you a sense of place, a sense of peace, a sense of finally being at home, almost in yourself as well. I want to read this, and then I'm going to get to these. It's so noisy out there today. It hasn't been noisy in a while. Okay, so our ancient ancestors believed that every place has a spirit looking after it or embodying it. Just as we have a soul, the plants, trees, birds, mountains, and rivers have their own essences. When the spirit of place arrives in your reading, it says that the answer to your query is in the overarching theme of your circumstances. Is your question about a struggle? The answer is to relax and let go of your need to control the situation. If your inquiry is about finding love, then embody love rather than longing for it. Once you find the essential truth that underlies your question and then name it, you'll discover the answer you've been seeking. Your greatest power is your authenticity. Right, so that's kind of what's been coming up here, right? Something coming to light, giving us the information that we need to see things for what they are, right? And being able to sort of loosen up this hold that things have been on, and we can see where we've been fooling ourselves, where other people have been fooling us, where maybe, I keep getting that we've been tricking ourselves into a situation, and allowing us to really get a good, like, when you embody this power, this sense of wholeness, being able to see where you are on the path, being able to see where you're coming out of, bringing light into this situation and allowing it to sort of move from being blocked to rushing forward, so sort of like eureka moments. The feeling of being lost and without a compass is going to dissipate. Hang on, I wanted to get in advice cards. One sec. Okay, I'm back. One of the other things I wanted to add is as part of the lesson. So I said also, like, finding new ways to heal, understanding your behaviors that cause pain. One of the other trends I noticed, and this may be in this trickery here, is clearing out collaborators, right? We may have people, partners, business partners, romantic partners, friends that are starting to show another face that we didn't expect to see. but that in seeing what they truly are and their true nature, which may be that they're withholding, maybe that they're like little tricksters, maybe that they've been keeping secrets, that's going to help us walk away from it, make a choice, walk away from it, and close out this cycle to find peace in ourselves. So that's another one of the trends that I noticed in activities. Now, can I get, for Aries, please, some advice for this eclipse? Some advice for Aries for this eclipse. Oh, that one floated. Okay, crow spirit, which is so funny because I got 1,000 of them in my garden. Co-create with spirit. Let me read this. Okay. As you look around you, can you sense the magic that pulses through the world? Have you witnessed how every thought can become a thing? Ooh, that's another thing I noticed. People are like crazy manifesting really fast. How every intention can call the universe into action as the sacred laws shape what you experience. The universe works in perfect order. When you align your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs with spirit, you'll want to crow with delight, feeling the excitement and wonder of being in harmony with something much larger than yourself. Crow spirit says you are right on target now to see your dreams magically come into being in the visible world. Amazing. The laws of abundance, compensation, frequency, and praise are operating in your favor right now. Remember to be grateful and praise what is yours, even if it is still coalescing into form. That's kind of like that house, right? Like you might be still in the phase before you get the keys to the house, but it's still going to be yours. You're going to have the keys soon enough. No matter what area of your life you're concerned with now, what you hope for is on its way. For spirit is your co-creation partner. Okay, so very nice sort of closing out omen. Looks like there's one sort of like last hit of perhaps unwelcome information. It's like unwelcome because we didn't want to see it, but it's actually quite useful. Maybe we have to get burnt one more time, literally or figuratively, before we're able to see like, oh, okay, that's what's going on, and here's what I need to change, and here's where I need to shift things, and I'm not going to do that anymore. And as we close out this cycle of this path that we've been on for the last couple of years, getting the keys to unlock that next place where we are more whole, more confident, more not going to fool me again, and ready to really just sort of sing the symphony that we've been, working on. These cards here. All right, so if you've picked this one, ooh, interesting. The card is Thunder and Lightning, and the underneath is Power. And it says, you have so many strengths, yet you allow people to take away your power. Interesting. That's the getting tricked by yourself, right? When your words are discounted or your actions mocked, your light fades. You may tell yourself it doesn't matter as long as you know the real truth. But the danger comes when you start to believe others' dismissive attitudes towards you. Now is the time to take a stand and to assert your authority so you can grow fully into your power and shine your light. Otherwise, you deny not only yourself, but others who could benefit from your gifts. Draw inspiration from the electrical charge of lightning. Learn the authority of thunder and stand bold. Never give your power away again. Amazing. Here's the incantation, because I think this one's really cool. It says, spiteful words I won't allow. No longer will I scrape and bow. I grow in strength, not silently. I reclaim my power, become more truly me. And it says, seeing lightning or dreaming about it also denotes an opportunity to express and cleanse yourself of any deep-seated anger you have. Lightning is a buildup of energy seeking release. Hearing distant thunder indicates that there is still time to manage a potentially difficult situation. Very interesting. Okay, this one here is coins and is about abundance. Let's see what this says. Finally, all your hard work, whether it be through sheer hard work, prayer or positive affirmation has paid off. You have been blessed and are now supported by the universe. Prepare to reap the benefits, for a cornucopia of abundance will be showered upon you. While this abundance may not appear in the form of energy we call money, you will be amazed both by what comes to you and the unique ways in which it appears. Receive the bountiful gifts the universe bestows upon you with gratitude. This is a great time to start a new business venture, maybe after Mercury goes direct. So shake hands on a new partnership or on a deal that's being offered. Remember I said it's about changing your collaborators? Keep your mind focused on the positive. Do not deviate into negative thinking, and you will never go without. Heads or tails, you win. And your incantation is, I understand how I receive. It's how I think, how I perceive. My thoughts and wishes of what could be manifest in form and come to me. And I just want to add a little personal story here. So the other day, I'm fighting with this coder guy who won't give my code. And I was realizing that thoughts were quickly manifesting. And I realized that my problem was that I hadn't set myself to wanting to get my passwords. I had set myself to wanting to get revenge, right? And so I was getting revenge, but I still wasn't getting my passwords. So I shifted my thinking into what I was actually asking the universe for. So be very mindful of how you phrase and think things in your head, but also, in the way you're approaching, the energy you're approaching it. This last one is dice, and it says gamble. And these are very interesting because these cards rarely come up. So, should you stay or should you go? And here's that choice card. This is what you've been wondering of late. You want to throw in the towel, but if you do, are you running away from your responsibilities? Perhaps you should persevere and carry on. It might get better, but what if it doesn't? If a situation is not serving you as it should, if you are not being appreciated, then surely it is time to leave. However, as you have put in so much time and energy, it may be a mistake to leave before you reap the rewards. You can stay in the warmth of your current comfort zone or gamble it all away on a leap into the unknown, which might eventually lead you to adventures, amazing, that will fulfill your soul dreams and desires. Only you can decide whether or not to take a risk. It's time to roll the dice. And here is your incantation. If I leave, the stakes are high, a chance to live, to soar and fly. And if I stay, what would I do? To what I know, I would be true. Okay, I want to call out this message. It says, other divinatory meanings. Recognize which of your strengths or weaknesses support a decision you're trying to make. You know what to do. Whatever you decide will be supported, right? And the other thing I want to say about this is, sometimes we don't make a move because we're afraid to make the wrong move. But the beauty of the universe is that there's no such thing. Because if you make the wrong move, quote unquote, you'll know immediately because you'll hit a wall. Or things will not go great, which allows you to course correct and go back into the more accurate path. And then when you're on that path, you start seeing things. When you're on the right path 100%, you start seeing things. It literally rises up to meet you. Things that were potentially seemed impossible start to become very easy. Anyway, so that's it. I will see you when some of the planets go direct and changed for a check on the current energies, and I wish you the very best. Take care.